Alright, in this video I have an unboxing that's a little bit different. This isn't necessarily a Skilltoy, but it's so weird and such an alien looking thing. So for me, when I see some weird stuff like this, I go, hold on, you could probably juggle that. And before I open this up, I just want to say this is another science experiment type thing that has potential to be a Skilltoy if you modify or change it. But we'll see. That's why I'm opening it. I want to see if you can juggle this thing. So let's get it open. So this is a Loop Lasso. It's basically this little machine that spins up two motors on two wheels and shoots a loop of string around. It actually comes from this old school novelty toy where it's like this plastic pipe that you blow into and it has the same effect, but this company has motorized it. So it comes with some foam, a USB cord for charging, I'm assuming, two size strings, and the Loop Lasso itself, which is just a stick. I thought it was like gonna be more bulky than this, but no, it's pretty small. It has a UV light on it. That's crazy. I don't know if these are two different size strings. It just looks like the green one's a little bit longer. Okay, so this is what you get inside of one. We'll open up the standard white string. Huh. If you know me and you know trithology, you know that it's very hard to make a loop of string, and they're just heat pressing the ends together, so this isn't something you would want to tug on really hard. This is pretty long. Yeah, so this is super long string, so what you do is slide this string through here. Yeah. Well, there's not much to say about it other than seeing what it does. Whoa. I must be doing this wrong. Oh, you have to put it through this thing? Ah. Okay, I'm gonna stand up and try it. Maybe what's happening to me is that it doesn't have the proper droopage to start. This thing's weird. I don't know why it's clicking though. It's only clicking when the, you know what it is? It's that little tiny heat mark press where they connect the string makes the clicking noise, which is something you wouldn't expect. It also shoots out, so maybe you can't flip it. Yo, what? What the? Whoa, did you see that? It flew off and was maintaining a shape without this. That's crazy. So the only thing is that it's like they gotta figure out a way to make it where this thing doesn't want to pop out. It's also a little bit hard to start. Ever since I've seen these, I've always wanted to know if you do a high power one, if you push into it, what happens? Man, it rejects it immediately, so you can't do that. That's something that I thought you could do, was push into it and like curve the shape with your hand pushing into it, but maybe you have to, if that is possible, it might be only on the down. Or it lowers the, that's still usable. That's something. Whoa. That's trippy, man. So if you push on the bottom, it drops. If it drops too much to where it hits that, it bounces back up, which is super interesting. And if there was just a way to make this clogged in there and like locked, then you could do more of the stuff I'm trying to do. Alright, let me see. Yeah, like, it's hard to make it do properly, but when this top one, since it's spinning the opposite direction, when it touches, it bounces it back up. That's crazy. And also, I think the bottom is swinging back, and that kind of causes it to go back up. So it's both. When it touches my finger, it has two movements of the string is going both ways, so it creates some pretty crazy like bounce effects, which is weird. Now, the one thing that I have been wanting to know, so if you do erratic movements, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I have to try it because it's the sake of Skilltoy science. Can you backflip this thing while it's working? That didn't work too good. So like when this is on, if you turn it sideways, right, it's gonna start to drag on the handle, which causes torque issues, right? So what happens if you go the other way? Same thing happens, I guess. So maybe you have to front flip it? I'm super optimistic when it comes to toys, but I don't think you can flip this, or it would take a very long time to figure out how to flip it. Ooh, when it touches the ground. Whoa. When you're touching something, it almost feels like this is shooting, like a gun. You can like aim where it is. Okay, so I have a lot of ideas with this, but you can't do it because this opens by itself. The motors don't really seem to clamp on as much. It shoots off a lot with all these jerky motions that I'm trying, but then again, maybe some people would say you're not supposed to do what you're trying to do with it, but I'm trying to see if you can Skilltoy this thing. You can juggle anything, right? Like, let's think of it differently. I saw somebody walk through one of these things. Like this dude walked through the thing. So instead we need to think big, right? Like, what happens if you just turn into the thing? Whoa. Whoa. I'm trying to chase it. That was crazy. I'm dizzy, but that was crazy. So like when you turn, you can't touch itself. Ooh. Whoa. It sends ripples, but I think it needs to be more up. Bend it. Whoa. It's hitting the ceiling. So, what happens if you just turn it sideways? Like 180 it this way. That was interesting. It kind of folded in on itself. So what happens if you flip it the other way? Ooh, that's like a release. So that means when you're getting into some crazy shapes, you you want to release it. Let's see if I can do it. So there is a release and then there's a fold. So what happens if you go this way? Oh. It drops. It drops really bad, watch. So this is like a gyroscopic toy almost. It spins and does things a certain direction, which the other direction can't. So there's no way to do certain tricks the other way. So an example of that is I can easily go, too strong. I can easily go this direction and have it loop in on itself like that. But if I go this direction, it slows down, and that's the release. So that's spinning it this way is going to release the string. If you've ever wondered like how I learned any toy, this is how. You just try different stuff and see what happens. And so like we know that twisting it this way unlocks it. So what if you twist it the other way, a full 360? So the string hits itself, and then it technically has like 4 points of direction, and it shoves itself into all different areas. Let's see if I can do that again. But I need to move out of the way, maybe. Oh, I really want to be able to backflip this thing, man. And because of that, I'm not going to try to backflip it. It would be cool though. It would be really cool to have this thing backflip. Whoa! What just happened? What I was doing was doing this, dropping. Whoa! What? Bro, that's insane. What the heck? I'm just combining two tricks that I know. That's the two things that I've discovered. I'll put this together and I'll go through itself. Oh my god. It creates a loop over itself. That's dope. Alright. It's a very cool thing that's happening with that move, but it releases itself, or it gets tangled up on itself. So when I exit the trick, when I'm trying to back out of it in some way so that doesn't happen. There's like a crash that happens. What I'm trying to do is like gently have the loop go over. Yeah, it makes this other loop, creating this like figure 8, so the bottom of it becomes like unstable. Man, that's like one of those things where you discover a really cool move, but there's not really many ways to get out of it. I want to open this just to make sure if this is bigger or smaller. Seems a lot bigger. Okay, let's see what you can do with this. Maybe this is the one I can step through. This one is a lot bigger. So full speed, it's like the thing that's crazy about this is it's like you're drawing in the air with it. So like the fact that these bends in the string stay there is a trip. And then you can touch things. Wow. don't think that's very hard to do, but I'm trying to jump through it. This one's big enough where you could probably jump through it. The only thing is if I do that, it's not gonna look very cool through a GoPro. Yeah, I did it. Whoa. What? I'm like controlling it. Whoa. That's a trip. Lowers the whole thing. Like, what happens if we grab both? You just slow it all down. Kind of trippy. That happens a little bit too much. That's my one complaint, is that this thing pops out a lot. So what happens if this is just straight up? Oh, it pops out if it hits the ceiling. Like, what if you had two of these on the same string? So the thing about this that's crazy is when it touches the ground, it kind of shoots back. It does weird things when it touches stuff. So it like touches the ceiling, it just pops out, which is pretty strange. I can't figure that out. Maybe it's hitting it at such a speed, it sends a little wave down the whole thing, and then it just pops out of here just perfectly. So you know what, I've just kind of been playing around with this and talking as I go. How about I just go straight for the edit and see if I can come up with cool things, because I'm talking in between dropping it a lot. I want to see what you can do, and I'm just gonna zone out and make an edit. So I've played with this pretty much all day, and it's a pretty cool toy. It's very interesting, super weird. It's definitely different. It's like you're spraying string, and you can even control the stream of where it's going. It just gets a little complicated because certain maneuvers in certain directions will pop the string out. Sometimes the string will just reject, so it makes it a bit difficult to do certain moves. But if the company could figure out a way to like close that, then maybe it wouldn't happen. So it's really cool. I am probably using it the way you're not supposed to. I'm trying to flip it around and trying to get the string to go in on itself, which will pop it out. So I'm definitely not using it correctly. It's kind of like this weird novelty toy. Like they took that old pipe blowing string loop thing to the next level. I've charged this thing twice and it hasn't gone all the way. It says there's a light in there. I can barely see it. I can see it reflecting off the USB port when I plug it in. I didn't really mess with this, but I'm sure that's kind of cool at night. But yeah, this didn't charge up all the way. But it does seem to have a pretty good battery life, except I guess the way I see it is if it doesn't pop out and you use it the entire time of its battery life, it's a good chunk of time. But if you keep having this reject and you gotta, string it back, then that time is kind of cut in half, because when the string gets rejected, this is spinning like full speed, and I don't think that that's probably good for it. I'm pretty sure it needs a string in there, and to not spin full speed, that's like full juice. So that probably sucks the battery a bit. Another drawback is the way that they heat press the string together, so it does this click. Every rotation it'll click. Like at first I thought the motor was broken or something, but it's the little bump on the string. But you kind of get over that. Trust me, I've been trying to figure out how to make a loop of string seamless since I was like 14. Loop Lasso, if you figure out how to do it, you let me know, because I have a toy that deals with a loop piece of string. Like, please figure out how to make it seamless without a bump. If you could make it to where this thing doesn't pop out, this thing would be pretty nuts. The good side to this toy is that it's just it's so strange, man. Like the fact that you can move it and it keeps the shape. It basically keeps the shape as it goes down. This like weird windy movement, and it's a really trippy toy. There's some things that I figured out, like you can grab this bottom one and pull it to the side, and that does a lot of things. Just by touching this will slow it down. You can push the top of it and kind of guide the string like water. So it's a really trippy toy. That happens a lot though. The string does reject out a lot, but that's, because I'm using it like you're not supposed to. I'm trying to figure out weird ways to whip it around and stuff. Like, honestly, it's a pretty cool toy. It's not necessarily a skill toy, but I think there's some room for improvement if you want to go that way. Like, if they made this, doesn't pop out, not the shape of a stick, maybe, a different shape. Because I've had an idea with a loop of string that spins, but I could never make the motors like this. So you guys are onto something. If you wanted to make it more like pro, like tricks and stuff, do those improvements and this thing will kill. Like, it's already pretty crazy. It's like an alien. And the bigger string is cool because you can jump in and out of it. So I'm sure if you made this even bigger, and this more powerful, it would be pretty crazy to like hopscotch back and forth in and out of it. So I mean, it's got a lot of potential. It's a pretty trippy toy. It's called a Loop Lasso. It comes with 2 strings, 2 different sizes. It's USB rechargeable, which is really nice. It's got this little light on it, you know, so it can reflect the string at night. It's got a wheel for the speeds. It's not hard to pop in there. If you think this is cool, get yourself one. The links are in the description. Loop Lasso, thanks for sending me one. It's a pretty interesting thing. I tried my best to do tricks with it or figure weird stuff out. I think I did a lot of the more technical stuff I would go for, like tangled in on itself and the whole thing would just implode. So there's certain moves you can't do because the string is spinning at such a speed that when you cross it over with itself, it starts to drag, and any drag on any point of the string changes the whole thing's structure, and it's crazy. So if it goes in on itself or a loop gets stuck in on itself, it just implodes. So yeah, go check out Loop Lasso, check out their website, get yourself one. Super cool toy. I'm gonna be messing around with it a lot more. Figuring out how to manipulate it properly seems pretty cool. So yeah, go check out their website.